Well, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. We are so excited to have Miss Sarah Kay here, otherwise known as the St. Louis Medium. I have been really looking forward to this one since the moment we got it scheduled and on the book. So, welcome. Thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon. Guys, if you're not familiar with her, I'm going to go ahead and give you just a little background. It's so incredible, all the experiences. We got to chat before we went live. She's a previous school teacher for, what was it, 23 years?
23 years.
23 years, guys. But most well known currently for being the St. Louis Medium. She's also a human design reader, and she has really stepped into these gifts. Like, she got done with teaching after helping kids going to school and getting them all set and ready, middle school specifically. Now here she is. She's helping the rest of the community with all of her amazing intuition and gifts. So through mediumship, psychic perception, and human design chart reading, she's helped people reconnect with their loved ones in spirit, gain insight into their own lives, and then deepen their trust in their own intuition and their awareness of their own. So she blends work spiritual perception with also grounded clarity, and she's helping people better understand themselves, their energy, and the patterns that are eventually shaping their lives. So she is also the founder of the Uncivilized Sisterhood, and it's a community of women learning to trust their instincts, think for themselves, and then reclaim their voice. So Sarah, thank you so much for being here once again.
Thank you.
I just kind of gave a little intro to you, but any other things about yourself and, how did you kind of discover this gift?
Okay, so with the mediumship, I've always been able to, since I was very small, I went to an old Presbyterian church up in North County, and I've always seen the dead, and I've always seen aura in like buildings, people, plants, animals. I didn't know other people couldn't see it when I was little. So people a lot of times ask, does it overwhelm you? And I'm like, no, I didn't know that people couldn't see it. No. And I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And so there was no internet. There was no Instagram, TikTok, anyone talking about having these gifts. And so I didn't know even like who to go to for resources or to learn more about it because it wasn't something that was nurtured in my upbringing.
Sure.
So, but I've always been intuitive. When I was younger, it would show up, I would have dreams or in deja vu.
Isn't that so crazy? I didn't realize that many people don't have deja vu or they don't understand what that would actually mean.
Yep.
I think it's so interesting.
Well, and I will say my dad is a businessman. Growing up, he was an insurance guy and everything. And he used to listen to a lot of tapes by Brian Tracy or Napoleon Hill, the manifestation stuff. So I was getting stuff on, and I always thought when I was little, why don't they teach this? Why don't more people know you could visualize a parking spot and get it? Or so there's that side of me too, where I always have, and I've always just known that there's more than the 3D world.
Okay.
And so I've learned over the years how to bridge the two.
Yeah. Which is amazing, right? Because there are individuals, as you could probably recognize in a test, can you spot somebody who also has those same kind of instincts as you?
Yes. So someone who is naturally, so everyone is intuitive, okay? Everyone has intuition. It's just that some people are born more aware of it and believing in it and trusting it. And so those people, yes, their aura actually looks a little different than someone who is skeptical or has questions or afraid of it. And but the people that come spiritually curious to sessions with me, I'm like, oh, you're intuitive and you could do this, and I can see it in their energy.
Oh, that's so amazing. So cool. What a gift. So when did you realize that this is something that you wanted to pursue professionally? I mean, obviously you were a teacher beforehand. So when did that switch?
So I want to back up to this first. So before I became an educator, I was a forensic science major.
Oh, wow.
And got overwhelmed on a field trip in the morgue. And at the time I would have said, I'm a sensitive Cancer because I'm a Cancer. My son is in Cancer. So I went to my advisor and I said, how can I get out of here in a year? Because I was paying for my undergrad. Well, I paid for my graduate school too. But either way, at the time I was working a ton and going to school a ton. And she looked at my transcript and she's like, well, you could be a teacher. And my entire life, people had said to me, you should be a teacher. And I was like, nah. I had no interest. I'm the second of 6. I'm the oldest girl in my family.
Wow.
I grew up in youth group, taking care of kids all the time, babysitting. I just had no interest. And however, I wanted to get out of school. And so at the time I said, sure, sign me up. And so I have my undergrad is in elementary ed. And then anyway, I went on to education. I didn't love it, but again, it goes back to like the universe, right? And manifesting. And I taught for like 7 years, and I had this thought one night. I'm like, gosh, I took a workshop over the summer, and I was actually quitting teaching at the time. I was 7 years in. I'm like, I'm not going back teaching, but I'd already signed up for this workshop, and it was on teaching gifted kids. So I went into that, and then literally I got a call to teach at a gifted magnet school. Like or so later. It was wild. I was like, well, maybe I'll do that. And so I got hired to do that. And then from there, I was like, oh, I really want to work with regular classroom teachers and gifted kids. And I ended up doing that in another district in the area. That's what I did for 17 years. And I went on to get my master's. And then I started to get I applied to a doctorate program. I was going to start my doctorate because I was also an advocate at the state level for gifted students. And what I started finding in Jeff City, like if you have more letters behind your name, they listen to you in education. And I thought, oh, I'll go get my doctorate. And I had a dream. And the dream, I don't remember my dreams typically. And this is how the universe works. It all aligned because I had just taken like a 6-week class called the Surrender Project at the Center for Spiritual Living. And it was all about opening up to spirit and the universe and saying yes to whatever presents itself. So I had this dream, and it said, go to Mystic. And in the dream, I was presented with this locust, like a, insect. And they're kind of gross. And it was all covered in stones and stuff. And I'm like, this is weird. So I Google on my phone. I had not had children yet. Mystic Valley popped up. I had never been there. And I went, this is probably 14 years ago now, maybe 15. Because it was before my son is almost 13. So it was before I was pregnant with him. Anyway, I went there. It was the one day a month they had a psychic fair. And 2 different women said, oh, you could do this work. And I'm like, I know. I just understand it. And I also had this in my brain that I'd be poor living down by the river in a trailer, yeah. And I was like, I don't want that for my life. So I drive a pink Jeep Wrangler that I love. Like things that I enjoy. I enjoy my things. And so and I also believe the universe is abundant. So anyway, from there it just started. Like I started doing readings for my friends. I took an intuitive development class that this woman offered. And then she had a mediumship class that I started. I didn't finish it just because I was like, this is already happening for me. I wasn't someone that needed evidence that it was real. Okay. And so when I'm in a place to be like, oh my gosh, it's cool and it's fun for me to show people. And at the same time, I didn't want to sit in a class and learn something. I was like, I know that. So that's like basically that woman who taught that class. She was amazing. She taught me how to like listen to symbols, read symbols, interpret my gift, ground my energy, protect my energy. All the basics of like, if people are going to work as mediums that they really need to be implementing. Okay. And from there, it just grew and grew and grew. And then COVID happened. And I just started renting this office here in Webster. And then COVID happened and I was a teacher, right? And things changed after COVID. Mm-hmm. And so I started asking the universe, okay, show me if I'm supposed to be here. And I also felt like I was getting at capacity. And then I got 3 signs, like really beautiful signs, which at the time I thought were horrible. And over a period of 3 years, the universe was amazing. And I also in the meantime, I had found out about human design about 7 years ago. And human design, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but it just gave me this beautiful construct, the energy I already see. And it helped me align. So I was burned out in education. But I didn't see a way out, right? I was like, what else can I do? And I was kind of doing this, like doing my work on the side. And then when I got certified to read human design charts, I was like, oh,
here it is. Okay.
So I'm going to do an experiment and I'm going to follow my design to the T. And I'm going to see what happens. And my human design coach, I think she's in Connecticut. She's amazing. And the whole time, leaving education at 23 years, I did not retire. I didn't buy out for years. Mm-hmm. I just stood up and quit at a meeting in May.
Oh, wow.
I'm done. I'm quitting. And I was like, if I don't do this right now, I'll never do it. I'll just keep tolerating and not expanding out into the world. So
yeah,
that's kind of how all that came to be. I mean, actually leaving teaching, it was learning about my design and then trusting it. And simultaneously doing work to align my nervous system and learning to trust myself and my own intuition very deeply.
Yeah.
And just how to all of that. I applied everything I had learned. Because
that's good, right?
We learn something and we're like, we take workshops or retreats and then a lot of people don't apply it.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of reasons why we don't. And I realized I'm like, I have to stop pretending and just be.
Yeah.
I just need to be me.
Yeah.
That's what I get to do now.
And you do it beautifully. So it's even better, right? I love that.
It's fun.
Okay, so that, I mean, that's a wild and kind of crazy, like from one path, because almost like, well, what else can I do? Like, and I just got to get out of here, to now like living the life that you have kind of really honed in. I assume, obviously, with like a home support system and that kind of stuff too. Like, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this.
This is what I'm doing.
You knew that that's what you needed.
Yeah, it was, when I think like I said, I think everyone's intuitive and they have gifts. And meaning like they have their body, our body always talks to us like 1,000 times faster than our brains. And so I am someone, I just knew what I knew. I don't always know how to explain how I know. People ask me like, how are you doing this? I'm like, I don't know. I just trust that it's working. And so, but with even leaving, it was like, I wasn't earning it. It's a whole thing to leave a 9 to 5. Mine was like 7:30 to 2:30, whatever job. And a retirement system, and like that masculine energy when you work for someone else is being held for you. And so it's also been a journey this last year and a half, almost 2 years, of how do I hold my masculine and feminine, and create, and also do and be, and I'm finally at a place where I can like expand.
I love that you like brought up there is the emotional and the mental capacity, and it has a direct effect on your physical being too, right? And so very frequently, like ourselves as chiropractors, that's what we see. And it's, people who are holding on to certain things that it's actually not really musculoskeletal anymore at this point, right? Like we've adjusted it, we fixed it, we've done all the things, and it keeps creeping back. Like there's something we're missing. I think so many people are just not cognizant or aware of how those connections all intertwine, and how your body works as a whole, whether we realize it or not. And we can have stress in our life, and even good stress, like starting a new job, planning a wedding, having a baby. Like these are all great things, but they are stress, and your body will kind of sink into that and hold on to it.
Yeah. So I see that in the body, right? So I'm not certified in Reiki, although I've done Reiki my entire life, like on animals mostly. I grew up training horses. I have a friend of mine right now, she'll call me, she trains horses, and she's like, hey, this horse is having this problem. Can you come out here? And I'll go to the barn, I'll get the horse, and I'm like, read it. And I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, has this happened? And this happened? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, maybe like I give her, well, you could try this and see if it works. And most of the time it does.
Yeah.
And so, but energy, like I see those blocks, or I see where it's held. I see, I can see in people's bodies where if someone's had cancer, I can see if their lymph nodes have been removed. It's wild. Yeah. And I never say to people, I'm not like, oh, you have cancer. That's not what it's like. Okay. I will just make suggestions to them. I'm like, oh, are you? I even had someone actually come up to me out and about in St. Louis. I was at a bar, and she was like, oh my gosh, your name's Sarah. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, you don't remember me? I'm like, no. And I read, which is the worst. I hate that, because I love the people I work with, even if it's just one time, I'm like, oh, and I just wish the very best for them. And I don't remember my sessions.
Yeah.
So
what's like your own energy protection, right? Like,
yes,
to not hold on to those kinds of things.
But apparently during a session, a group reading, I asked her something and she said no. So she didn't tell me the truth. And she said, you went like this. And then you said, well, if this happens, go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And it was already happening. And so she went to the doctor on Monday, and she had cancer.
Oh my.
And she's okay. Like she's in, they get rid of it. But it was one of those times. So I never, even when I'm talking about that stuff, I'm always like, hey, have you had this looked at? Or hey, maybe do this.
Yeah. So how does that work with your own self? Like,
that is a great question.
Like how
years ago, one of my mentors, I'm like, I can't read myself. Listen, I listen to my own body, but I can't necessarily look in the mirror and just see my aura. Okay.
Got it.
And so how it works with me, I was sick when I was in my early 20s with endometriosis, and it took multiple doctors to listen to me because I knew something was wrong. But I'm not someone that gives up. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to press you until you listen to me. I'm going to figure this out. And so, however, very recently I was doing some breath work, and it was the first time I was able to see my aura. And since then I've gone deeper into it myself. I was like, oh, I'm going to keep working with this and see where I can move it and how it changes and what does it want me to know. I have one of my doctor I go to, she's amazing. And she will ask me a lot of times, well, I don't know, maybe ask your left hip what it wants you to know. I'm like, I'm in pain. And that's how those are my people. Those are the women I have around me now.
Yeah.
Like, they understand me and they know that, like, yeah, I'm going to go ask my body what it has to say. And I'm going to listen to it when it tells me.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Oh,
Which is
I think that's what an amazing, like, for myself as a chiropractor, it's like my blessing and my curse, right? Because I'll have something wrong physically, I can feel, and I will know how to adjust it, and I can fix it on somebody else, but I can't do it to myself. And so that's like, it's almost like my torture.
Yes.
I'll know, but there's just nothing
right
for myself.
Well,
so I love that you can at least recognize it.
Well, and the cool thing is that, like, 100% of the time, if something's going on with me, I get to like a breaking point every single time. I just I'm like, okay, spirit, God, universe, send me the person who is a good fit for me to work through this, whatever the thing. Like, okay, right after I left teaching, my whole side of my neck locked up all the way down to my lower back. It was like the fascia like line across my back. And I kid you not, I had lunch with someone, talked about it. I'm like, oh yeah, go see blah, 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 blah. And that person helped me work through it.
Yeah.
I mean, every single time I ask and that it shows up, although I'm someone that pays attention, right?
Sure.
But I don't believe it's coincidences.
Battle.
It is. It's like probably 85% of people trusting the messages they get and that it's not magical. It feels like magic. It's magical, but it's not magic.
For sure. Right? Like, these are clues, these are your signs. That's why you talk about the body all the time, right? Like, how many times people come in and like, oh, I have normal headaches. No. Headaches are never normal. That's your body's sign. It's trying to warn you, like, hey, by the way, something's not great. And you got to figure out what to do with that, like that is people who can listen to their body and be aware of it. I love how many children we've seen come into the practice and just how aware they are. And I'm like, hi, child, please teach your mother how to do this because you're so good at it. And they're just so much more aware. And at some point in time, as we age and as we grow, we shut those things off and it's just like continue to push and one step in front of the other that we've negated some of those big key signs that your body goes through. So and the emotional component is probably very similar.
Right. And I think that, like you were saying, like over time, you learn not to listen. Now that I understand human design so much better too, I'm like, oh, it's designed this way. I think there's multiple facets to like why we're taught not to listen to our intuition and to put our power completely outside of us. Yeah. I am someone that's like, I have a duality in me. I co-create with spirit. Like, I trust. I know that I'm co-creating, but I also know that I'm responsible for taking action and holding a space for myself and like healing my nervous system and integrating things. It's a two-way street. Absolutely. It's not just this happening to me. I'm not like, and so I am one of those people. That's something else my entire life. I've always been intrinsic too, like going inside, like, well, the why is different for me now. I don't ask that as much. It's more like, who am I here to be? And like, who am I going to be through this process or through this thing? Who do I want to be?
Right? Yeah, absolutely. So you've mentioned human design. So for those of us that are maybe a little bit more new to that, kind of give us an overview. What is that?
Okay. So human design at the most basic level it's like your energetic blueprint for living an aligned life where you're not constantly pushing, being, shoulding, self-abandoning. Like, you literally start living a life aligned with. So people are designed. Human design takes the Kabbalah, the I Ching, astrology, quantum physics, combines it all into this called the body graph. And it says, hey, here is like the most aligned way for you to use your body, make decisions, environments to be in. Here's the energy you came in with into the world. Here's the energy you're here to express. Here's how I can go on and on. And so like, that's what it basically is at its basis. There's 5 types of energy. And it's like every single human on the planet is one of these types. And then once you find out your type, it's like, well, how can I live according as much as possible to my design type?
So how is it determined which of your 5 designs are you?
So it's the formula. Actually, you have to know your time, date, and location. Those are the 3 things of your birth.
Okay.
Because one of the biggest things is people, a lot of times people use, like, I think the app is like the pattern There's a few astrology apps that ask for that too.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people will sign up for a session with me and they're like, well, I think it's about 4 p.m., but it could have been 8. I'm like, okay, hold up. Because that's going to change in the body graph. It's going to change the gates and things that are being expressed in this lifetime, because it changes your rising sign or your ascendant in human design, which is, or just in astrology. It's like what planet was rising, like when zodiac was rising, like when you're born.
Okay.
And that changes about every 2 hours. So that is
one.
What?
That would be a big difference between 4 and 8 then.
It really would. So like if I don't have someone's time, or maybe they were like, I have people who are adopted. They don't have it, or they're older and they don't even know. Most people in St. Louis County can get their long form birth certificate and it has the time on it, even if the one from the hospital doesn't. But anyway, so it tells them like, hey, so when someone finds out their energy type, I'm like, okay, then we're talking about your strategy and authority. Strategy is like how to best make decisions, and your authority is like, what do you listen to? Mm-hmm. How you listen to it. So for me, I'll use me as an example. I'm a generator. Generators and manifesting generators, there's 5 types, but a generator is they're about 70% of the population. And if you think about a generator, we literally generate the planet, like the energy on the planet. They're also known as the builders, but something wild about a generator, and I say this because I was conditioned the exact opposite, especially as a teacher, is generators' energy is served best when they're doing things that light them up and make them excited. Mm-hmm. So we also do that thing that you just did, actually. So the generators we make this thing called the sacral sound. Manifesting generators do the same thing because our sacral is defined. Okay, we're called sacral beings, because anywhere you go in the world, if someone asks you a question, you're like, And the way my coach described it to me, check a girl, right? And you're in school, or you're at home, and let's say you're home and your mom's like, hey, do you want a cookie? And you're like, You get all excited, and she says, use your words. Use your words. What do you say? And you're like, oh, yes, please. Yes, ma'am. And immediately what that does for children is it takes them out of their body and straight into their head. And so they learn that their body doesn't know the answer. It's their heads that make the decision. Wow. And then you get, right? When I first learned that, I was like,
I just ruined my children. Great. Thanks.
Well, I taught kindergarten for a while, and I look back at that and I was like, oh man, I wish I had known this when I was a kindergarten teacher. Right. I mean, it would be so beautiful if you really could get your students' designs as a teacher. Because here's the other crazy thing. I'm designed to respond to my environment. So I'm designed to like maybe have an idea of what I want, but not go push and make it happen. I'm designed to like wait to respond, like let the universe show me, bring me experiences or conversations or people, which when I was describing my educational experience, it kind of did happen to me naturally.
Sure.
I'd be like, oh, I really want to teach gifted kids and blah, 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 but I have no idea how. And then someone just approached me. And then when they approach me, the next thing is, so here, check this out. I had a thought about 6 years ago, I want to do a 15K. I thought it myself. The next morning, a friend texts me, hey, you want to do the hot chocolate 15K? And myself at the time, well, this is like before I knew about human design. So myself at the time thought, oh, this is the universe telling me I should do this. Okay. Because it showed up and I had the thought. No.
No.
I did it. Okay. I keep that medal hanging in my closet by my mirror as a reminder I don't like to run. Because here's what happened after that. As a sacral being, I meant to ask for the thing, wait for it to show up, and then run it through my sacral, which is basically like your solar plexus, like your gut. And so now knowing if my friend had texted me the next morning after I had the thought, I'm going to do a 15K. Because at the time I thought, that's so magical. Thank you, universe. No, it comes in and then I need to go, uh-huh or uh-uh. And it would be a at this point in my life. So.
Oh, did we freeze that?
Oh, I cut out.
There we go.
Is that you or me? I don't know. Okay, so the world is designed for manifestors. It wants us to initiate and then take the action and push to make the thing happen. I used to take so much pride in being a go and doer. I'm like, I'm a go and doer. I get shit done. I've even in personal development groups that I've done, my team one time was like, you're a bulldozer. Bulldozers make things.
Yeah.
So, right. And so it for me, I was like, it's not a negative, and it's also not aligned with my design type. I'm meant to, yes, build, but also respond, to be patient in that space. Something else with me, like if I'm in alignment with my energy, I have a limitless supply, and I need to use my energy up. So now if I start to feel a little anxious at the end of the day or restless, I'm like, oh, did I walk most days now and work out 4 days a week. But if before that, when I wasn't, I would just go move my body. I bought a shake plate actually to like get the system moving, because generators and manifesting generators need to move their energy consistently. Whereas other design types are designed to like not, so like the manifestors, they are initiators. They create the movement. They, and it comes from within. They'll have the thought and go do it. And I said, that's how most of the world is set up, even though it's not. Generators and manifesting generators are how they run most of the planet. Like we're like the energy, the powerhouses. Projectors are more of like the guide of humanity. They're the ones that see what's happening, and they're like, oh, and they're here to like express their genius and to be invited. And so, like if you have a bunch of squirrels putting acorns in a tree, and those are the generators and manifesting generators. The little bird will come over and he watches and he's like, I have a better way to doing this. That's the projector. The problem is projectors sometimes share their ideas and nobody's asked them because they haven't been shining their own brilliance. So their job is to get into work, is to get into action, and then other people will start seeing what they're doing and using their energy in that way where it's honored and supported. And then the reflectors, these are really interesting. These are the like 1% of the population, and they mirror back the health of the like environment. They tend to be, when I work with them, they're the ones that get short circuited very easily. I would say they were energetically sensitive.
Okay.
Because we have these things called centers in human design. Have you ever looked at a body graph?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Reflectors are entirely open, which means they take in everything around them. And so for those people that come in here, which is very few, when they do come in, I teach them like how to ground their energy, how to cleanse their energy, all the things, because they will burn out very, very quickly. Whereas like generators and manifesting generators, I burned out. However, it took me a really long time. I burned out to the point my cortisol levels dropped. They weren't even on the chart. And not because I wasn't stressed. Okay.
Oh, right.
I had to wake the adrenals back up. But it was like, right? My doctor's
so then you said the reflectors, the generators,
manifesting generators, and did we say projectors? I'm gonna do this other way. Generators, manifestors, a manifesting generator, a reflector, and a projector.
Okay. And what are the projectors again? They're the ones that just have the ideas and project it on?
Yeah, they're here to like, no, the projectors are the ones that are here to like see more efficient ways to do something. So they see the squirrels running up and down the tree really fast. Those generators and manifesting generators are like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Make a supply chain. Use less energy. This is more efficient.
Yeah.
And then, but they're the generators and whatever. Like this is how you should do it. It's meant for them to go do their thing and then shine their brilliance. Mm-hmm. And then they'll be invited to come share what their ideas are. Most of my friends and the people in my space are projectors or generators.
Interesting. I mean, it is kind of like, it makes you sit there and think about like people in your life. Yes. Like as I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, ooh, I bet they're this. I bet they're this, right? Kind of makes you wonder, like, well, like just based on their personalities or what have you, I guess. But obviously that's not where it comes from.
Okay, so imagine like now that I know this, like if I were to go back in the classroom, brainstorming with students, that doesn't work for every energy type.
Sure.
Even when it comes to like building and making things, I would never put all projectors into a group. They probably fight.
Sure. The best, right?
I have this idea, right? Yeah. Also like in the graph, like people at the open head center, a lot of times they're labeled as ADHD or are having too much going on. And that's really how their brain works. They're meant to have all these different systems and things open at one time. It actually supports their energy. Mm. And so learning that, I was like, oh, it's helped me as a mom because I have a little projector
Yeah.
And it's helped me realize like, oh, this is kind of an environment. This is an environment I can set up for him that supports him and makes him feel safe.
Yeah.
And also at peace. He says to me all the time, Mom, I'm so peaceful around you. I feel
Aw.
so calm around you, right? And he's 12 and a half. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And it really is working with his human design instead of pushing him to do things that are outside of his, not that he shouldn't grow, because we do all or be out of his comfort zone. It's not it.
Mhm.
It's just how can he create a life that has the least amount of resistance. And I don't mean trials or things that are hard. I mean like it feels naturally in his alignment to be doing it, even if it's a struggle.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, now I'm just like, I feel like I have so much more to learn, like for my own kids, right? Like,
Yeah.
I also have a 12-and-a-half-year-old, and I'm
Me
like,
too.
oh, I'm seeing a lot of these kinds of things. I get that.
Right. And it's like, even with their sleep and with their like all these things, their environments they thrive in, like all that is in the chart.
Hmm. God, that's so amazing.
It's
So
cool.
obviously, like I am loving what you're saying, but what would you say to somebody who might have some skepticism?
I welcome skepticism actually.
Mhm.
I very much I'm like, well, I understand why you believe what you believe. Just because the environment like I grew up in. However, the idea, I invite them into sessions always. And hold that is the fine line because it's like you don't have to believe in what I do. I have to believe in what I do.
Mhm.
I have to believe in who I am. You don't have to believe in who I am.
Right.
And so that's really the biggest things I say to them. If they're like, I don't know if this is real. I'm like, well, come in and find out.
Yeah.
Because they always,
You get to make the choice. I'm going to do
they
it.
always get the message, right? Or my favorite is like people will come in, they're like, well, this other medium told me the same thing you just said. And I'm like, okay. And
Yeah.
to me, that's validation.
Yeah, as it should be, right?
It should be. I'm like, what did you want? Assign your sign. Well, that's not how spirit works. Like if you come into that's part of it's a two-way street. So I always tell people, like, even when I do group sessions, I'm like, hey, I don't want a ton of alcohol mixed in with this
Mhm.
or a ton of weed. I want you being able to receive. It doesn't, yeah, because it doesn't impact my reading. Like I am clear. It's the other person's ability to receive and take in. And I have had people sit in group readings where they are like, no, that's not right. And then when they leave and towards the end, and someone else will be like, every single thing you said to that person was accurate.
Mm.
And I said, well, they weren't ready to receive the message from their loved one. And
Yeah.
that's okay. Because I also believe in divine timing.
100%, right?
Right? And I had to learn this work. Like I'm not here to prove to anyone. I'm here to be and to guide and to show. And so it's like, show them the way, show them what's possible, show them what's available. And that there is another way. The duality does exist. And I'm not pulling, well, there's all kinds of things I can get into because I get a lot of questions or someone's like, I want to come challenge you. And I'm like, well, I don't really play in that space because I don't look at it as a challenge. I'm just being me.
Yeah.
People have asked me, did you Google me? I had a woman ask me that once and I had to look down at her name because I didn't even know her. This is so silly, but people give me fake names. And so I don't always look or pay attention to who's coming in. I'm like, I just have an appointment.
Right.
Because they give me fake names. So I'm like, I'm not going to stress too much over. It's not about that necessarily as much as it is obviously the session. So, or the message. I'm like, no, I didn't Google you. But I look at it and I'm like, okay, Callie, but I'm going to Google you now. If I pop up as a friend suggestion, it's because I've Googled you.
Right.
And then I Google them if I remember to go back. This person I did. The weird thing is this particular situation, like a week and a half later, a friend of mine passed. And at the funeral, I ended up taking another person who was at the funeral. I didn't know this person. I drove them to the luncheon afterwards. Okay.
Mm.
In the car, this person is saying to me, oh, you need to talk to Callie or whatever this woman's name was. Her husband passed. And I was like, oh, give me my name. And everything this person was describing is, I'm like, this is the same woman.
It's gotta be, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was. I'm like, that's how the universe works though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, if somebody was wanting to schedule something with you, like what are their options? Obviously, you said group sessions, you can schedule an appointment with you. What are their options and how do they actually take advantage of that?
Okay. So my website is stlouismedium.com. So it's the word saint is abbreviated. So it's medium.com, or my Instagram page also is the same. And on there they can sign up for there's individual sessions, one-on-one, like a personal reading would be mediumship, intuitive guidance. There's human design. There's also aura drawings offered on there. There's shorter sessions. They're 30 minutes. I do offer aura drawings at vendor events a lot of times. Like about, let's say your office had a health day or a wellness day, and I came and draw aura at the event. It would be like $40 a person, and only like 10 to 13-minute sessions, like shorter sessions. And then the group sessions, I also work with groups are a little bit trickier. Sometimes you have to email me. It's stlouismedium@gmail.com.
Mhm.
Because groups, depending on how my month is, like what's going on in my life, I might not be doing groups for like 2 or 3 weeks on the weekends, like Friday and Saturdays. I do groups during the day. People just need to message me.
Got it.
Email me is the best way to reach me. If someone just messages me like, hey, I want a book, I prefer them just to go look at my website, because I'm going to go check out my website if you'd like to book.
Yeah. And you can book directly through your website?
Yeah, so you can go in there and it takes care of everything. You pick your time, virtual or in person. My office is in Webster Groves across from Novel Neighbor. I think it's called Old Orchard. So they want to come in person, then come here to Webster, or they can do virtual. And I have people who have had virtual sessions with me and in person. They've said there's no difference. Okay. Energy is energy. So for me, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I have got to learn some little tidbits too. I love that. I'm gonna have to send my kids to you and all the other things too.
I do aura drawings I have some families. I do aura drawings once a year. Like I did a human design, then I do aura drawings, and they change because your aura changes.
Okay.
Interesting. It's interesting. I work with kids quite a bit. I love it. So.
Oh, well, I mean, especially like being a teacher and now doing what you do, you have like that combined gift. Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for those who have watched this and who are going to go back and watch it. I hope everybody has a beautiful day. It's a little bit rainy here in St. Louis today, so thanks for the positivity and the brightness that came from this, and have a great day, everyone.
Thanks.